In this era of grave spiritual crisis, it is not enough to simply know about your Catholic faith. That is why we need a Catholic toolbox to equip us with the practical skills necessary to live our Catholic faith to reach our ultimate goal, which is heaven for all eternity. Do not merely listen to the word and so deceive yourselves. Do what it says. Join us every Tuesday night at 8 p.m. for the Catholic Toolbox as we hand you the tools to go forth, live the faith, and change our modern world today. Live on the Voice of Charity. And welcome back to another week on the Catholic Toolbox, the Art of Practical Catholicism. I'm your host and founder, George Manassa, here as we equip you with practical tools to live your faith in our modern world of today. And this week, I have a good friend of mine, Giovanni Portelli, joining me here in studio. Welcome to the studio, Giovanni.
Thank you very much, George.
It's always great to have you. What's all this here?
We have way too much fun for starters. But I thought I might just bring in some of these cameras. They're all working. I use them on assignment.
This is your weaponry.
Yeah, well, these are the tools of the trade. Things that I like to have on me whenever I'm on assignment for the Catholic Weekly or for any and all church agencies and other things.
Yeah.
Because I thought I might bring along some photos.
I feel bad I didn't bring anything. None of my swords, none of my my helmet, my Templar helmet.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Well, no. Look, I did a bit of my homework and thought, because your thing was so plain, we needed some texture, dimension, and things to, props, bits and pieces. But these aren't props; they're all real. They're all.
For those around the Catholic world, and here in New South Wales and in Sydney in particular, do you want to start off by introducing yourself? Who is Giovanni Portelli?
Okay, yeah. So,
photography.com.au.
I'm a freelance photographer, photographing here in the Sydney area, and my area of expertise is the Catholic world. It's there's so much to photograph, particularly with the Catholic Archdiocese of Sydney, and I have far too much fun doing it. I cover a wide variety, a big spectrum of what happens in the Archdiocese of Sydney.
Yeah.
And I've brought some photos in from big assignments here in the Sydney area over the past year that I thought, maybe we can talk a little bit more about it. And I promise it's just the epic stuff.
For those who haven't caught up with our episodes that we've done before, you can access them via the podcast. So go to The Catholic Toolbox Podcast. That is The Catholic Toolbox Podcast. And wherever you get your podcast, you'll be able to find that and it's under the episode, A Catholic Photographer, a Catholic photographer's lens, actually. And so it's... You really have a great perspective, Giovanni.
It's
you see so many Catholic events around Sydney, around Parramatta Diocese, around so many places, and you're an official photographer for the Catholic Weekly, which is the Catholic Archdiocese.
It is
newspaper.
It's a bit more than that. The Catholic Weekly is I've got to get this right. I'm pretty sure it is Australia's oldest, longest running, most widely distributed weekly Catholic newspaper.
Yeah.
So there's a bit of gravitas to the Catholic Weekly, and it's I've always found that there's an entire spectrum of stuff in Sydney and beyond to photograph. as I go through each page of Australia's Catholic history, there's just, oh my gosh, so many scenes to see and share, and yeah, that's exciting. It's
beautiful.
Yeah, it's a unique perspective.
And from our last episode, what I loved, what you said perfectly is, and it's really resonated with me, is your vision for the future in 50 years' time, in 100 years' time. What are our children and our grandchildren going to look at to see what the Catholic scene was like?
Oh my gosh! Okay, yes, yeah. This is why I've brought just some mega epic moments from just from the last year.
Yeah.
And there's a hopefully we can go through most of it.
Yeah.
There's
Is there anything you want to say before we get started with some of the photos?
Well,
You have a lot to say.
Yeah, there's a lot to say. Look, about the photos. When we do go through these things, some of these shots would have been published before.
Yeah.
And others, would be scenes that haven't been seen at all before.
Yeah.
But all of it, I think, is to show and document the strength in the faith of those who attend, who come along and say yes.
That's beautiful. And you're capturing, as you said it perfectly, the strength of the faith of the people who attend. You're capturing faith.
Oh, it's
Not just the photo.
I've always believed that, the photography in the Catholic world should do more than just document. It should absolutely evangelize at all times. And I think I mentioned this before. It was Bishop Porteus who said, "Giovanni, you've got a gift. Evangelize through photography." And I've taken that and just run with it as often as I can.
Over the years, where you've tagged us on Facebook in so many Catholic scene photos, I've had non-Catholic friends comment, and say, "Oh, well, you're involved in church things," and it sparks a conversation. So even just tagging people on social media with great photos of the faith can can help you in your personal apostille the next time you see them.
Well,
can evangelize.
That is all of that is a privilege. It's a gift, and I like it. I like looking at faith photos and sharing whatever I've got as well.
There's a lot of cameras here.
Yeah, there is quite a lot here. Some of these have interesting stories. I think this one was used by Archbishop Fisher on his, I think it was his birthday. He took a photo with this one on his birthday. After I photographed him, I think it was like for a birthday lunch, and I think he was cajoled into using one of my cameras when one of these ladies sitting down at the table said, "Oh, your Grace, why don't you take a photo for a change?" And he's like, "Oh, well, okay." And
Cameras have been turned.
Yeah. It's mega embarrassing to be photographed with your own stuff, but definitely another little unique.
So you're very territorial with your cameras, are you?
Well, you sort of have to be. They're expensive, and this is why I carry backups just in case there are any problems at all.
Yeah.
There's another one in the case just ready to go. Some of these cameras have definitely seen Sydney's the Catholic history of Australia unfold before their very frames, and it's just an absolute.
So they've captured a lot of.
Yeah.
faith here.
These things should talk as well, but I mean, that's the things that they could say would be.
That's why you're here to talk.
Yeah.
They're there to capture the image.
The
And you'll talk about the image.
Well, yeah. should we check with
John,
John how we're going? Yeah. Okay.
are we all good, John?
Okay. Let's
So
start.
for those tuning in via podcast or just radio, I highly suggest you hop on to Facebook Live, the Catholic Toolbox Facebook Live, or our Catholic Toolbox YouTube Facebook Live to capture the images. But we'll be talking about it for those listening through radio and cannot access the visuals. But let's hit it, John.
Oh, not that one. That's definitely St. Peter's.
Yeah. You've never been to Rome.
No,
they haven't captured Rome.
Well, have camera will travel. Oh, he's got a. There we go.
Okay, let's start with this one.
So this is the arrival of the relics of Saint Charbel in Australia, and we might go to the next one as well. Yeah, here we go. These photos.
Must have been a really good torch.
Well, yeah. Now
that wasn't your one, was it?
Well, it was an older technology for that particular one, but we'll go into that. These photos, and we might go to the next one as well, John. These photos were when they were shared online. I was going through the comments. Saint Charbel has a lot of people, a lot of the Lebanese Maronites here in Australia have a huge affinity for Saint Charbel. And when these photos were shared online, I was going through the comments. Some people thought that these photos, we might check the next one as well, thought that the photos were taken in Lebanon.
Oh, okay.
We might go for the next one as well, John. Thank you. Yeah, some people thought that these photos were actually taken in Lebanon.
Oh, wow.
They couldn't believe
that this was Sydney, Australia.
That it was Sydney, Australia.
That's absolutely amazing.
Incredible. Others thought that, and we might go back to one of the ones where that casket's being carried, John. We might go back to, if we can. Yeah, so
there you go.
The when people saw this, like some of a stack of comments went down the line that that Saint Charbel was being relocated from Lebanon to Sydney. Perfect.
Wow.
Perfect. The amount of confusion.
But I think St. Charbel's Punch Bowl is actually, correct me if I'm wrong, is the second, one of the most important sort of shrines to St. Charbel, apart from Lebanon.
Yeah. Well, with the relic at St. Charbel's in Lebanon, at St. Charbel's in Punch Bowl, this is a huge lifting. A spiritual and faith lifting component of this generation of Maronites and Catholics.
Yeah.
I've seen the plan. I was photographing the launch of the Saint Charbel's Saint Charbel Punch Bowl plan, and the new church. I think is already on display at St. Charbel's. The church plans will make a much larger church to accommodate the people that they're expecting. And there's going to be plenty of parking as well.
Okay, that's good. That's very important.
Finally.
Not having enough parking for church is a good problem.
I'm amazed. Now, the light, we might, John, cut over here. Now, the light in the background of that photograph, and we might cut to video, is
there you go.
This is the latest one. This is the latest thing that I use.
Yeah.
Now, years ago, before we had this, processions weren't lit. They were pretty dark.
Okay, yeah.
They were really dark.
Yeah. You just had the incense.
Yeah, you just had incense and street lighting.
Yeah.
I took it upon myself to buy a torch. Find someone, and I had to find someone who was at least taller than me, so about six,
Yeah.
taller than me, so 6 foot was the right size, and get them to hold a torch at the back of the statue or whatever it is, the float
Yeah,
or
yeah, yeah.
or
That's right. That's
or
right.
whatever was being carried. I would upgrade that to a. I went on AliExpress and invested in like a handheld, not a handheld because it's more than a handheld, in a two-handed searchlight on a stick on a pole
Yeah, yeah. Okay.
connected to a car battery that would
Yeah.
be located in a backpack.
Yeah.
So it's a 9 inch searchlight, 9 inch xenon searchlight connected with wires to a car battery inside a backpack being carried by a 6 foot tall, any 6 foot tall Lebanese dude who was told specific instructions. Habib, all you have to do is walk behind the statue of Jesus and do this. Just the light will go all night. Just make sure you keep it on that. And this changed everything. We could finally, for photos, visualize the incense. We could visualize the atmosphere of sacredness.
Yeah.
On the street, in motion whilst we were moving.
And it's so effective, especially with the incense at night, because you're shining it right on the incense and the smoke. The effect of the smoke looks amazing.
There are photos of processions in.
You said, processions.
Yeah. Well, there are photos of processions where the monstrance will be fully illuminated with this 100-watt halogen light.
Okay, on a spotlight sort
Yeah,
of situation.
and it'll blast through like a laser, and with the incense, the drops of rain, all of it accentuates the sacred scene that is before us. It's amazing, just amazing. Now this is the latest. So this is the previous contraption was a bit heavy.
Yeah.
But this is a lot lighter.
Yeah.
So George, what this is that's a flashlight. That's a pretty high intensity flashlight. Don't point it at the camera.
Okay,
but
I won't point
when it's on,
I won't point it at John, okay?
when it's on, and if you press it down, and then hold it down more,
Yeah.
and then keep holding it down, and then keep holding it down.
Look at that.
And well, what you can't see is how bright it is,
Wow.
but that'll in about 60 seconds that's going to start to get hot.
Yeah.
And so what I do now is I have a walkie-talkie
Yeah.
from myself to someone who's 6 foot tall holding this thing, and then on the walkie-talkie I'll go, okay, Habib, turn it up, and then
I'm feeling it get hotter now.
So my mate will turn it up, and then the light coming through is spectacular. And because it's so small, it's handheld, it makes it super easy. I think for video, we can't quite get the impression of precisely how bright this is, but this thing will fire a light beam about 500 meters in the opposite direction, and it's incredible. Now, if you just give it a little tap.
Oh, that was getting warm.
Yeah.
You can cook an egg on this.
You could. Yeah, you could. I don't want to because I want to keep it clean. But we'll see other things as we go through this slideshow of
All right, back
other
to
events.
slideshow,
Yeah,
John.
let's go through a bit more.
to
Okay, so
slideshow.
this was recently in February. This is Our Lady of Good. This is a procession of Our Lady of Good Success, and I cannot tell you how many times the priests at the front of the procession were calling me over to say, "Oh, Gio, can you get a photo of Our Lady with the crescent moon behind her?"
Yeah. Oh, wow.
Yeah. So that's the crescent moon behind
Yeah.
Our Lady. That's
Yeah.
the torch at maximum 16,000 lumens, illuminating the incense, the air. It was incredible.
Yeah.
John, we'll keep moving. Keep moving.
Next one, John.
Along. Yeah, so
Wow.
this is
That's in Lidcombe.
Yeah, this is Our Lady of Good Success. There's about 700 people. This was held in mid February, hosted by the Heartfelt Foundation.
I think Bishop Richard Umbers was involved, or that was a more recent procession.
Yeah.
in Lidcombe.
Bishop Richard Umbers was involved, but I don't think he was actually there.
Okay.
No. So this was Heartfelt's an organization. The Heartfelt Foundation was created by Bridget Saker,
Okay.
who lost her daughter with her cousins in
Yeah.
the Oatlands car crash, and the this procession gathered a remarkable, I think over 700 people joined in to march with Our Lady, and it's so beautiful, so beautiful. There were people coming out of their apartments in Lidcombe to look down about what was at this procession, what was going on.
Yeah.
And when you fire a flashlight at Our Lady, it's it attracts all sorts of things.
Yeah.
This was a
Back to St. Charbel.
Yeah, this is
back to Punch Bowl.
This is
Back to the area.
this is St. Charbel's. This was they had a display, like a St. Charbel fete.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
And they brought a float of a statue of Saint Charbel's from the other church, from I think Saint John the Beloved, is it the Melkite one?
The Melkite one in
the
Punch Bowl?
Melkite
Greenacre?
church to Saint Charbel's Greenacre.
Not the Mount Druitt one, John. Not the Mount Druitt.
We'll go to the next one. This is the centenary of was it the 60-year or centenary of Our Lady of the Rosary Fairfield?
Oh wow!
There's over 1,000 people, over 1,000 gathered for this huge celebration. And one thing Catholics do really well is we love to have public displays of absolute faith. And what you don't see is the column of people extending out of frame around Our Lady of the Rosary Fairfield, and this is just a small section. I'm standing on garbage bins to get this shot, by the way. I just wanted to add that.
I think your viewers need to and listeners need to understand the great lengths. The great lengths and the great extremes that you undergo to capture these images. When I see you around the Catholic scene, you're like a ninja.
Perched.
You're like a ninja.
Yeah, perched on something. I'm one of the things that I really love to do with a lot of these scenes is capture the scale.
Yeah.
And I think that's really important, to be able to, in one photo, demonstrate epic scale.
Okay.
If someone didn't have any idea about what was going on, at least you could see all the critical components of what Catholics believe in.
Yeah.
Togetherness, faith, Jesus,
Piety.
piety, sacredness, all of it in one scene. And
because you capture a lot of individual piety, people in
oh my
images
gosh,
that stand out with their piety.
I'm always blown. I'm always amazed. Yeah, blown away, amazed at children that come along to that families that bring their children along, and I'll keep an eye out for that. I think seeing the faith of young people is. Seeing the faith of young people is so inspirational. Mm-hmm. I think as they develop and experience the world around them and grow in their faith, I think it's amazing to be able to photograph that at an event where there were like 1,000, 10,000 other people present as well. We'll keep moving through. All right. John. This is going good.
Through.
This looks
pretty cool.
Walk with Christ last year, and
the biggest procession of all in Sydney.
Yeah.
You'd say it's the largest procession.
It is definitely a yearly record breaker.
This is where Christendom comes.
Oh, it is
The Christendom of Sydney.
It is the best to see so much of everyone gathered in all their different elements of diversity.
Yeah.
George,
This is true diversity.
This is true diversity, absolute diversity. And to
The
see
Universal Church.
so many different faces and different communities all coming together, I think is just, it's spectacular, just spectacular. John, we'll keep moving through. Now, this is
That's an
near
epic
the
one.
end of Walk with Christ. This is a very peculiar photograph. In order to get this particular scene, there's only one way to do it, and it's done by crouching down behind the altar and raising the camera up using a tilted screen
Wow.
to get
Wow.
this highly unique and specialized scene. There is nothing like this anywhere else, and it can't be done. I can't do it anywhere else but here. I wouldn't dare to take a photo like this except for this particular moment at this particular procession, because it's just that important. And oh my gosh, just so useful in demonstrating faith, evangelization, all of it, community, epic. John, we'll keep moving.
What I see with that one is crowd control.
What makes up Walk with Christ is about 100 or so volunteers who absolutely love to lock arms, and
It's pretty epic. That's one of the major scenes of the Walk with Christ every single year here in Sydney, Australia.
It brings so much joy looking at the volunteers and just all the attendees behind. If one were to zoom in on such a photo, what I like to do is I'm actually perched, standing at the Sydney Eye Hospital, up the stairs, and so as the group comes down Macquarie Street, I'll start waving.
Yeah.
I'll start waving to people, because people will note, oh, someone's waving, and they start to look back whilst I'm snapping photos. So there are people here who, in this scene and other scenes, are either waving back or looking directly at me, at someone, at a crazy person waving their arms down. John, we'll keep moving through. Now,
Wow.
one of the real special moments that I get to photograph a lot of, and I think Sydney is really blessed to have the seminary in the way that it is photographing the ordinations of guys who've said yes to the whole thing. And so this is now, that's Father Adrian hugging his dad after receiving his vestments. And after this moment, after this special hug with his dad, and his mum follows up next, he'll ascend the steps of the sanctuary and receive the rest of the sacrament of ordination. This scene used to never get photographed. It was very difficult to do so until I had the idea that as the priests were getting vested, that I'd join the area and photograph not the priests' faces, the parents' faces.
Wow.
Because up to this point, like, they don't get much. You don't see the parents' expressions or their feelings or emotions. There's a lot of stuff going through their head. It's this moment where I get to photograph the parents.
Wow.
Now, in order to make this actually work, there is a little bit of organisation involved, George. So, because Sydney happens to ordain usually more than one. There's usually more than one ordinati.
Yeah. Is it an ordinand? Ordinance.
Usually more than one.
It's Sydney, not Rome.
I'll brief I'll brief the deacons beforehand.
Yeah.
And go, all right, okay, so I don't want your parents to miss out
Yeah.
on this moment. So make sure you make sure you tell your parents to stagger those hugs. Just because if you go simultaneously, someone's going to miss out.
Yeah, of course,
Just
of course.
we're really just massaging and just maneuvering,
Staggering the hug.
Yeah, just staggering those things around just in the right way, just for the right timing. But I mean,
But look at it, you capture a beautiful moment.
it is
The expression
this
of two parents.
an irreplaceable memory
Yeah,
for Adrian's parents.
yeah.
We'll keep moving through.
Okay, we'll keep moving.
This, would you believe? Now, I think you've been to one of these.
I think I have. What are they called again?
This is the Australian Catholic Students
Association.
Conference. This is
Yes,
the AXA Conference.
AXA conference.
This is
yes.
the AXA Conference.
I've been to a few of those over the years.
This is... Now, I had the great opportunity...
You were there every year.
Well, I try
Most
to be.
years,
I
yeah.
try to be.
Most years.
This is really the... We're at the edge of the Australian Catholic student scene. And at the AXA Conference, university students have the opportunity to get together, share ideas, and basically experience really great lectures about the Catholic faith. Now, having said all that, it's also a dance.
Yeah, there's always a ball.
It's also a ball. And so last year I was at a table with...
You capture faith and fun. Well, there's a lot of fun in faith.
I was at a table with these two guys from the Catholic Society of Adelaide.
Yeah.
And these two brothers were just they had so much. They were so full of life, and I didn't quite know what to expect. All right,
Yeah.
we're dancing away, and the music changes, and then all of a sudden, one of them's doing flips. These are two guys who
Breakdance.
yeah, these guys are breakdancing, but they're doing somersaults on the dance floor. I did not expect this at all.
Yeah.
And these two guys were just having so much fun, and that photo just captures an aspect of breakdancing and Catholicism where they intersect in the most unusual way. I never thought these things could get together, but somehow at the AXA conference, this actually happened.
Amazing. It's where faith and fun intersect.
It's quite remarkable. Now, this doesn't happen everywhere.
Yeah.
This doesn't happen everywhere, so don't expect it.
Yeah.
It's a surprise. John, we'll
Right.
keep rolling through.
Let's keep rolling.
Oh, yeah, now, okay. So what you're looking at here is the Dempsey Cross.
Oh, okay.
The actual Dempsey
The
Cross.
actual one.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's not just the Dempsey Cross. It's the actual Dempsey Cross with the actual candelabras. Mm-hmm. It's
Okay.
like the
Those are
matching
the
set.
candelabra. Yeah, okay.
Now, what is the Dempsey Cross? Well, the Dempsey Cross is the cross. Now, I've got to get this right. Is the cross that belongs to the family that held on to the first Eucharist in Australia.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. So this
The
was
first mass.
the first Catholic Mass in Australia.
Okay, yes.
This cross was in their home chapel.
Yep. Okay.
Now, the family is iconified in stained glass
Wow. Wow.
at St Mary's Cathedral
Yeah.
on College Street, where there's a mass taking place at, I think, their house.
Yeah.
And the door's open. Someone's looking out the door for to see if the British soldiers of the government was approaching. because Catholic Mass, not approved. Not approved at all. That cross was was on the altar for that historic moment, for those historic moments.
Yep.
Now it was with the family. It's been with the family since that time.
Yeah, that's right.
So we're talking I think over 200 years.
Yeah.
And the Catholic Archdiocese of Sydney celebrates the pioneering work of the Dempsey family and that act through an annual award called the Dempsey Awards.
Yep.
And this is usually given to parishioners of parishes who've done exemplary work at their parish. And at that Mass at St. Mary's Cathedral, the family are invited and they bring that cross and it sits on the altar.
Yep.
But only for that Mass. Now, that's all changed. That all changed late last year when the family decided that they would give the cross and candlesticks to be maintained by the Archdiocese of Sydney. And so that cross and candlesticks, we're talking the first cross ever to be in Australia to celebrate Mass is within our reach.
Wow.
To see, to use, to
Wow.
to look at. It's quite remarkable. It's the
It's
photo
with
makes
us today. It's beautiful.
yeah.
Connects us to the past.
Oh, there's nothing quite like it, and it's probably I don't know, maybe 30 centimeters high, maybe a little bit less than that.
Okay. Yeah,
It's not that big. It's actually it's next to a tiny model of St. Mary's Cathedral.
Yeah. I'd like one of those.
Well, the cathedral has I think like four models in its
Four
possession.
models.
Yeah.
Are they up for sale?
No, don't ask.
Okay.
One of them's made of matchsticks as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. The matchstick model of St. Mary's Cathedral it's about 1 meter in length.
Yep.
And I'm pretty sure it's in the lobby of Cathedral House. So when you walk in to the front desk, it's right there under a glass case.
Okay.
John, let's check out the next one. This is AXA. This is a group photograph of the Australian Catholic Students Association. That flag is the Australian flag,
yes.
and George, I don't know if you know, but that flag has been around. That's been held by cardinals, by bishops, by Catholic groups.
We all hold it, yeah.
Everyone's held this flag. It is it travels
We've all
in my
stood
bag.
behind the Australian flag.
And it is every time I see is this a moment to bring out the Australian flag, it's in my case. I bring it out and I use it.
You really capture the vibe all the time. There's a certain vibe that comes with the Australian flag in the photo.
It's indescribable.
I absolutely love it. Yeah. We'll bring it out in a few weeks.
It's right there. It's right there in the
Okay,
bag.
beautiful. We bring that in a few weeks.
Absolutely. John, we'll keep rolling through. Oh yeah, now
Sock.
fast forward. This is the Catholic Society Ball.
Yes.
At Sydney University. Okay. Now, you used to go to this.
Yes, I used to go to many.
So, at the end, the Catholic Society
That's how we
Ball,
became friends over the years.
I think it was inevitable. The Catholic Society Ball is one of the premier Catholic Society balls within the university scene, within the Catholic university
young
scene.
adult scene.
Oh my gosh,
for a ball, yeah.
It's so great. At the end of the only thing about this is that it's held in December.
Yeah.
So it's like December's a busy schedule. There's a lot going on for everyone.
Yeah.
And the ball is like absolutely peak stuff to get to. And so I thought, you know what? I spoke to the organisers I spoke to the president and vice president of the Catholic Society that evening. Said, "Oh, yeah, guys, we have you've got these really big letters, CathSoc. Let's do a big photo with everyone. Let's absolutely do this. I've got a flag. You got the letters. Let's just do this before we all go."
Yeah.
And so they agreed, and this is what happens. It's so good. The faces, the really cool thing about this is the faces you see here, you can guarantee you'll see within the Catholic diaspora, within the Catholic diaspora for years to come.
Exactly.
That is the best bit. What you're looking at is the future of Australian,
the church,
of the Church of Australian Catholics.
And these faces will be in your parishes with their children, with their families, and that's all us now.
It is an absolute story to be told.
Many of my generation now, yeah.
John will keep going through.
Oh, that's beautiful.
So this is Christmas time at St Mary's Cathedral. One of the real cool things I get to do is photograph Christmas at the cathedral.
Mm-hmm. Beautiful time of year.
And
for those planning to travel to Sydney, Australia during the December season,
you
definitely have to catch Christmas at the cathedral. So
there's so much on offer. They have a schedule of 2 weeks of entertainment, food, and religious masses and to attend
sessions,
and
everything.
to experience.
There's a lot going on there.
So, I always hang.
We're trying to convince John, to check it out as well.
It's the ice cream. Go for the ice cream.
It's the ice cream, John.
They open the cathedral up, and seeing people experience St Mary's Cathedral for the first time is remarkable.
He doesn't look convinced.
I mean, just can you at least try to leave Mount Druitt for once? We'll check out. John, we'll check out the next photo. Yeah, so this is I mean, Christmas at the cathedral attracts
everyone,
all
faiths.
It is incredible. This group was from Dubai.
Oh wow!
And I was so fascinated.
Yeah.
I mean, who wouldn't?
Yeah.
Who wouldn't? About what interested them in coming to cathedral. This group had visited other churches before.
Yeah.
And so, apart from the food, the entertainment, and those sorts of things, a little walk into St Mary's Cathedral to see the beauty of Catholicism and the architecture and the paintings and the icons and all these other things was very, very interesting. John, we'll go to the next one. Now, this is at the end of Midnight Mass at St Mary's Cathedral. This marks the almost the end of the whole Christmas season.
Oh, it's beautiful.
At St Mary's Cathedral. The cathedral has it's a giant building. There's a lot of people involved with the operations of St Mary's Cathedral. Midnight Mass is a big liturgy.
It's a big for Sydney Cathedral.
Yeah,
it's beautiful.
And I'm always amazed at the families who bring kids and babies along
for Midnight Mass.
Midnight Mass.
It's beautiful.
So this young child is getting a little high five from the Archbishop.
Yeah.
It's I think close to 1 a.m. in the morning.
Yeah.
So okay.
He made it through Midnight Mass.
He made it through. John, we'll check out the next one. Oh yeah, now this is Christmas again. This is at the end of Walk with Christ.
Yeah. Where they sing Christmas carols and walk through the streets.
So there's a group called the Knights of the Immaculata, and once a year they gather several times a year, but at Christmas time they host a thing called Christmas on the streets, carols on the streets,
Yeah.
Christmas in the streets, where they have a real big public display of Christianity
Yeah.
by marching a statue of Jesus through the most
It's like a 2-meter statue.
through the most
Yeah.
populated streets of the CBD. Last year they went from
Singing Christmas carols.
singing Christmas
Beautiful,
carols.
yeah.
Last year they went. No, the year before last they went from St Patrick's Bondi, so
Yeah.
through Bondi
Yeah.
to St Mary's Cathedral. This in December they went from Martin Place through Pitt Street to St Mary's Cathedral, and we're talking the streets are packed with Christmas shoppers and people are out for dinner, and when you go past, when you have 200 plus 300 plus people singing Christmas carols in a line as they're marching through, carrying a big statue of Jesus on their shoulders and saying Feliz Navidad, it just attracts a lot of attention.
It does.
Here at the end of the procession, they end up at Christmas at the cathedral, at the Christmas at Cathedral event. There's already over 2,000 people in the square.
Yeah.
The square opens up like the Red Sea, and the procession comes through all the way to the top of the steps where the statue of Jesus is turned around, and everyone gets to see, and just the solemnity is astonishing. John, we'll check the next one. Yeah, and here it is I think this is called Friendship Park.
Yeah.
In Surrey Hills, where they're going through, and you can see all the elements here. We have young women carrying the statue of Jesus. We have cross bearers. Out of frame will be incense bearers. Someone carrying a thurible. Incredible witness. John, we'll keep going through. Yeah. I mean, God bless this dad for carrying his daughter on his shoulders on the streets of Sydney. Yeah. I love it. This is earlier that evening.
That?
Well, this is early in the evening, somewhere around Pitt Street Mall.
Yep.
For Christmas in the streets.
Okay.
Yeah.
Same procession there.
Same procession.
All right, let's keep going.
John, let's have a look at the next one. Oh, yeah, okay, so...
that's a beautiful mass.
So this is...
the Lord's Mass.
Yeah,
Mass.
the Lord's Day Mass.
Yes.
So in December, the Knights...
Of Malta.
Yeah.
The sovereign...
The sovereign military order of Malta... Hospitalia.
No, the Sovereign Military and Hospitalia Order of St. John of Jerusalem, Rhodes, and Malta.
And Malta.
I think that's correct.
They bring back water in vials from Lourdes.
Was that last year?
This is from...
That was last year.
This is from December.
That was our first Mass, Akita and I, for Lourdes.
Oh, really?
Yes, that was the first time we'd attended the Lord's Healing, and we loved it. It's absolutely beautiful, and I think we'll be going back every year.
Well, the invitation is open to
it's a beautiful
everyone.
Mass.
Oh,
it's a beautiful Mass.
Extraordinary.
Really reminds you everybody is in need of healing.
Oh,
in
absolutely,
some capacity.
absolutely.
And I spot you there. I always spot you. There he is. There's the ninja.
Here, Father John McCarthy is blessing. Would we say blessing? Yeah, blessing a young child with water from Lourdes.
Yeah.
And there's a real variety of people that attend this Mass who seek healing.
Yeah.
In a very practical and spiritual way.
Yeah.
This mum brought her child for whatever reason.
Yeah. And herself. I think
and herself.
everybody gets up.
Father John McCarthy doesn't hold back.
Yeah.
Like if you're there, you're gonna get blessed.
Yeah.
Incredible. John, we'll go to the next one. And the Order of Malta is made up of volunteers.
It's absolutely beautiful. And actually, my wife and I did our first set of volunteering in
really?
Parramatta, and it's absolutely beautiful with the Order of Malta. Absolutely lovely work and lovely initiatives that they have around Sydney, especially in Bondi and in Parramatta, and in the city to help the poor and especially the homeless people on the streets.
There is a huge dimension in Sydney that that don't get covered, that are ignored, and
There is a lot that doesn't get covered. There's so much work being done that needs to be unveiled, and that's what you're here for.
Well,
You're there to capture the moment
as much as possible.
as much as.
As much as possible. John, we'll check
All
the
right,
next one.
next one.
This is well, it's definitely this could be Midnight Mass.
Yes,
actually,
yeah, it looks like Christmas.
this could be Midnight Mass, and this young girl's kneeling down on the granite. Now, the granite at St Mary's Cathedral. I only learnt this last year. Isn't any ordinary granite.
Yeah.
The granite
What's the catch?
is quarried from Kerala.
Oh, really?
Yes, that's Kerala granite.
Coral and granite.
Yeah.
They're very interesting.
Like I think Kerala,
Kerala, probably. Yeah.
Kerala, India is like I think it's the most Catholic part of India.
Yeah.
And that's the floor of St Mary's Cathedral.
You learn something new every day.
Well, the difference is that the previous floor was basically it was wearing out. From memory, it wasn't as ornate and had worn out in places. So during 2008,
Yeah.
I think in the lead up to World Youth Day, the floor was changed. The floor was upgraded before the World Youth Day.
Just in time for World
just
Youth
in
Day.
time for World
Wow.
Youth Day 2008. And the way they did it, and I remember this because I was there for one of the pilgrim masses. They did half the floor at a time. So one half was completed, and then you couldn't access that area. And then,
so they could still.
yeah. John, we'll check the next photo. Oh, now this is current. So this was taken about in January. This is the commencement of the Year of Hope.
Yeah.
The current year, from the Pope himself, Year of Hope, and what we're looking at is we're at the altar fence to the sanctuary, and peering through the ornate fence.
Yeah.
And the fence itself is made of polished brass with what do you call the symbol fleur-de-lises.
Ah, yes.
Yeah.
Fleur-de-lis, yeah.
So there are fleur-de-lises around the altar fence, and the camera's peering through an archbishop incensing and blessing the statue of Jesus for the commencement of the Year of Hope.
Yeah.
John, it's
beautiful.
We'll check the next one. This is this is
You
Year
really
of Hope.
caught the water through the aspergillium in the air.
St Mary's Cathedral has one of the largest aspergilliums,
Aspergillium, yeah.
and it's a real horsehair. Well, it looks to me like horsehair.
Is it real horsehair?
I don't know, but let's say it's long, and so there's a lot of flick. There's a lot of flick to it, and positioned just right.
You get a good projectile.
Positioned just right and anticipating this particular moment resulted in this photo where it looks like a meteor shower of rain.
It's beautiful. Look at that.
Holy water heading straight for you.
Oh, that's absolutely amazing.
Yeah, that's a fun favorite.
Yeah.
John, let's check that next one. Oh, now we've gone back to Christmas. This is so at Christmas at the Cathedral features a giant laser Christmas
Video.
story.
Yeah, lights. Yeah, on the cathedral.
Yeah.
It's like on a projector screen.
Yeah.
on
Well,
the
no.
cathedral.
Yeah, it's projected onto the cathedral.
Yeah.
Here is a snippet of some 2,000 plus families and people watching that, and you can see a huge slice of Sydney's Catholic faithful, and this is what it looks like. It's amazing. We're talking like the full spectrum polarity, of every community, every race represented.
It's amazing.
I love it. I love it. John, we'll check the next one. And like I mentioned, John, you should come for the ice cream. At
He can get it here.
at the Christmas at the Cathedral, there's a stack of food stalls.
Yeah.
And yeah, these kids are enjoying an ice cream as well. John, we'll check the next one.
That's
Now this is Midnight Mass. Now if you're watching Midnight Mass at St Mary's Cathedral on TV, or if you're there, you don't see this at all.
Okay, yeah.
This angle, you don't see this at all. What you see is the back of everyone's head,
Exactly, and
just leaning over. Yeah. Well, this is what I see, and this is what I love to share. Like what are the expressions on the priests, on the archbishop? The archbishop is crouched over. He's kneeling forward. He's laying a statue of baby Jesus at midnight mass. A profound moment, absolutely profound moment. What does it look like from the perspective that you get to see the archbishop, priests, the entire community looking back at the single thing that defined humanity, our existence on earth.
Exactly.
Jesus. I'm blown away.
It's beautiful.
John, we'll check the next one.
Oh,
and now you definitely do not get this view anywhere. This is just before.
That is a very rare view.
This is midnight mass, just before.
And you creeped up to the pulpit,
Now,
to the archbishop's pulpit.
The pulpit is about one story. It's a couple meters high.
Yeah.
Sandstone. And
you snuck up there.
Well, I am afforded the privilege, a very unique, special privilege that is granted to a very select few to be able to photograph from the top.
Okay.
I'm sort of.
But you do get some great coverage from there.
Oh yeah.
Look at that.
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
This is the archbishop's view. You don't get this on anywhere else. This is what he sees. Now, what you don't see in this photo is, if you can visualize the archbishop, he's holding, in his left hand, he's holding his crozier. And at the bottom of the pulpit is a little wooden plate. And that's where his crozier is positioned.
Oh wow!
It's a little nook.
Yeah,
it's a wooden nook to keep it still. It's like it's these little bits
amazing.
of detail.
It's I think I'm sure that you have so much more to share with us.
I could keep you up all night, George. We could definitely.
We could do another episode. This is to be continued. All right, back here. So I think this is definitely to be continued.
I can.
But what are your final words for this episode to encourage people? In capturing.
I think
moment of faith.
A lot of people. Well, there comes actually there needs to be a balance, and when I'm on assignment photographing Mass, for instance, what I'll see is there's a growing percentage of people that are whipping out their phones
Yeah.
to take photos
Yeah.
during Mass as well. And I'm thinking, you've got to find the right balance. I think if you're at Mass, be there for Mass. There's no other reason.
Yeah.
Like this isn't a social media moment. This is a moment to, for parishioners and communities to experience Jesus, and to not be distracted by whatever distractions there might be, like taking a photo or a video. I see that heaps. It's really odd. I like to. For myself as well. It's also like I can get absorbed into the moment as well.
Yeah.
And I'll always try to experience a Mass also. There are interesting boundaries that need to be reached for all sorts of people. But I think if there's anything for people to use as a guide, I think, if you're going to Mass, leave it to the professionals to take the photos and videos and just absorb the sacrament in the way that it was intended.
Thanks so much, Giovanni, for being with me here today in studio.
George, this has been unreal, as always.
It's always a pleasure to have you.
It's a never-ending conversation.
It's a never-ending conversation, and it is to be continued.
Wonderful.
Thank you for tuning into the show, to the Catholic Toolbox here. Don't forget to subscribe to the weekly podcast alert. Go to thecatholictoolboxshow.com. That is thecatholictoolboxshow.com. And don't forget to subscribe to the podcast wherever you access your podcast. So, until next week, I'm your host and founder, George Manassa. God bless, take care, and take action. In this era of grave spiritual crisis, it is not enough to simply know about your Catholic faith. That is why we need a Catholic toolbox to equip us with the practical skills necessary to live our Catholic faith to reach our ultimate goal, which is heaven for all eternity. Do not merely listen to the word and so deceive yourselves. Do what it says. Join us every Tuesday night at 8 p.m. for the Catholic Toolbox as we hand you the tools to go forth, live the faith, and change our modern world today. Live on the Voice of Charity.